Alright guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brittany. Welcome. We're gonna check out some more Judge Judy, because y'all know how she be. We're gonna check out some pet scandals from Judge Judy. Let's see her going on some folk.
A year ago. For how long? 2 years. How old was the dog when you got him? And so he was holding it gently. Yeah, just a second.
Miss Susan comes to court with a case, suing the defendant for the price of a dog and a stud fee. She claims that he owes her a dog. The plaintiff once had a boxer dog that once belonged to her son, but after 2 years he couldn't care for it anymore, so she gave it out.
Did you sell him or give him to Mr.
Gave him to
Schaefer?
him.
Why?
My son was working long hours and couldn't take care of him anymore. Had him in a cage all day. Craig took him. Craig has the father.
On what date did he take him?
I'd say June of last year.
The plaintiff and defendant had agreed to have a dog breeding season, and by that time, the dog wasn't for the plaintiff anymore because she'd given it out because she and her son couldn't take care of the dog.
And what were you going to do with this pick of litter that you wanted?
Well, I wanted to
Not
have
well.
it trained. I wanted to have it trained as a service dog.
Why didn't you train the other dogs as a servant? Listen to me.
Right.
If things don't make sense, they're usually not true.
Her plan
Exactly.
isn't working so well because the judge is on high alert to find out what she actually wants. She wanted to train the newly bred dog as a service dog,
They altered the
but she had a dog which her
voices on
son
here
owned, but she
for
couldn't care
copyright,
for it, so
so
she had to give it out.
that's why it
When you
sounds
took the dog
off.
over to Mr. Conrad's to breed.
Craig told us that we could have to breed it.
Okay. Well, I don't know that. And Craig isn't here. You're not Craig, are you?
No, sir.
Okay. And I don't read letters. What'd you bring him for?
Well, the defendant also has his one cross to bear. When he agreed to breed the dogs, he had a request for her to pay vet bills. He didn't have the money to take care of his dog's vet bills in case something went south during the birth process. But unfortunately, that's not how things work. If a dog is bred, the person with the male dog gets paid a stud fee or gets a pick of the litter. Their ignorance costs them more than they'd imagined.
Vet. And 2 of the puppies died because you didn't know what you were doing because you're an amateur and you said, well, now she's in labor and I don't have money to take her. I'm speaking. I read your answer. Now she's in labor. I don't have money to take her to a vet.
Judge Judy read his answer again, and based on what he wrote, it was ambiguous in its understanding. He was there when it happened, and he's the one that gave details, but the answer he's given isn't supporting him at all.
Did you sell him or give him to Mr.
Gave him to
Schaefer?
him.
Why?
My son was working long hours and couldn't take care of him anymore. Had him in a cage all day. Craig took him. Craig has the father.
On what date did he take him?
I'd say June of last year.
Because he didn't have the money, he went online to look for help. He claims if she'd have told him that she wouldn't help him, he wouldn't have put his dog through that ordeal of breeding. But unfortunately, it's kind of his fault because he was going into something and he didn't have the funds for it and had no knowledge of it either.
Exactly.
That's like
Why would
mistake
you do
number
that?
one.
I don't listen
That
to me.
was the
I don't
agreement.
care what your impression is. Mr. Conrad, if you're not understanding that you're stupid, I'm explaining to you that you are a stupid and irresponsible dog owner. Because dogs deliver puppies in a nap.
Things might have gone a lot
Say
differently,
you're
but that
stupid.
doesn't take away from how irresponsible he was. He needs to accept responsibility. He was ignorant
Should
even
be
in
out
his
here
search for
breeding
knowledge to help
dogs.
his dog.
You didn't know
His
how to
one
breed.
mistake is putting his dog at risk when he didn't have the funds.
Now,
The
Mr.
puppies
Conrad,
are still at my house. I did not do this for money. The puppies have been costing me money the whole time.
Fair
She's
enough.
What
under
did you
the
do it
impression
for
that
then?
I bred
listen to
dogs
me.
for money.
Listen to me. That's what happens when you breed.
You breeding your dog for free?
dogs.
For fun?
He didn't neuter the dog because he didn't want his dog to go through pain. I understand that, but unfortunately, it's not enough because the risk of labor, which his dog did in fact go through, was because he didn't have his dog neutered. His ignorance is truly adorable.
I thought her giving birth to some puppies was a natural thing and that
he lying.
it would be fine.
Mr. Conrad, the first time a man has to be in labor for 24 hours without assistance is the last time there will be a birth in this country.
The plaintiff claims the defendant's pit bull attacked him and
Hilarious.
his dog. The defendant claims that that's not how it happened, despite her not saying the event happened. She claims her dog was tethered to a tree,
I wasn't
so
there,
there was
but it
no
didn't
way it
happen
could have
like that.
happened without him coming to her property.
A Malamute and a Husky.
How old?
8 years old and 7 years old.
Do you
Husky.
live in close proximity
Both of
to where
them.
the defendant lives?
Yes, a block and a half away.
And you've seen her dog before?
Never.
Do you walk in front
I'm
of her
tired,
house
y'all.
frequently with your dogs?
About 3 times a week.
And
He brings the map to explain how it happened.
You got
It was around 4
dramatic
p.m.
dogs.
He had just come back from a flight. He decided to walk his dogs. He was near the defendant's property when he heard clicking noises and it drew his attention. It was quite scary, so he called for the owner and nobody answered.
I yelled to no
Clicking
avail.
noises?
Nobody came out. The dog came at me. I put my hand up defensively. It bit me once, and then it went directly after my Malamute, my female dog Jade.
step back.
Aw.
What did you do at that point?
Based on the fact that she wasn't there, I believe that could have happened. The plaintiff yelled again, and the defendant's dog bit his dog again on the leg, and while it tried to pull its teeth apart, it bit him again.
Picked the dog up by its neck, walked over to their residence door, knocked on the door. Eventually, Miss Fraser came out of her garage, asked me what was going on.
So
I
she
said,
was
"Is
at
this your
home?"
dog?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Your dog just attacked me and my dog."
Even after he's called her attention to what was going on with his hand and his dog bleeding, she told him that her dog would never hurt anybody. I mean, how real can it get with blood all over your front porch?
The dog.
I can't
At that
stand
point,
people like
I
that.
turned my shoulder so I could walk out of
My
their
dog would never.
entryway to go get my dog, who was then actually almost in the garage at that point because she didn't know what to do. She was just standing around bleeding. I then leashed my dogs up. I explained that I'm not happy with the situation.
The defendant claims that she had just gotten back from shopping. She claims she'll never leave her dog out if she wasn't home, so she was at home at the time, meaning the dog was free.
And then there is an entrance to your house from the garage.
Yes, the laundry.
Great. So that somehow the pit bull got out.
No, that's not what happened.
Well, do you see what your problem is? Do you understand where your problem is?
Yes.
All right. So
It's clear as day, but unfortunately, she doesn't want to take responsibility. She's trying so hard to use what
She
she
don't
said
wanna
in
pay
her
the
answer,
medical
which obviously
bill.
wasn't the truth. Her answer
And
is
that
what
vet
Judge
bill.
Judy's trying to ask about, but unfortunately for the defendant, the plaintiff's story basically made hers unreasonable.
tree.
Yes, it was on a leash.
You said the dog was tethered to a tree.
Yes.
That was a lie, correct?
No.
Well, it can't be both. You can't have opened the door and let the dog out to go to the bathroom
I
and
wouldn't
try the dog
bring-
to... Let,
Judge Judy was also offended by her indifference to the bleeding situation. She saw the bleeding man and didn't do anything about it. She claims the reason she did nothing was because he was cradling her dog like a baby and she saw no blood. Like, lady, can you make a
Girl.
little bit of sense, please?
A baby. He was not holding it by its neck. There was none of that.
did you see
He was
any
cradling.
blood?
From his
pit
dog,
bull.
yes, but not from him. There was nothing
Like a
wrong
baby.
with
So
him.
he was, just a second, he's going to show me. So he was,
There's
A
no
big behind
adjective to
dog.
perfectly describe this woman. Well, there's one of them to use. Entitlement. Her husband is a retired police officer, so she's got to feel like she's got nothing to worry about.
Antioch. He
Just a
actually
sec.
also called the police
that's
too.
not what, just a second. He was injured.
Well, just so you know, it does get worse because her husband was a retired police officer. He tried to gain control of the situation and called the police and told them that the plaintiff had assaulted his wife.
Guessing it was your husband who placed the call to the police.
No, it was not.
Really? Did you call the 911 number?
Yes.
Did-
Oh my phone.
I'd like to see the police report
on my phone.
that you filed.
I don't have the police
Because you
report.
didn't.
I have a copy of the police report.
Well, here's another adjective, delusional. There's evidence right in front of her and she doesn't want to accept it. She claims that she's got little kids around and she wouldn't risk a dog that's, being vicious.
People were saying,
Well,
listen,
it's-
your dog got
She
out
just lucky
of the
that the
house
dog
and
didn't.
attacked him and attacked his dog. And you have to pay for it. Do you
Right.
understand? Period.
I
End
don't
of discussion.
believe
After all their efforts of explaining to her, she still doesn't get it. Well, what she'll get is a gavel at the end of the case. That means she's got to pay the plaintiff.
I don't believe you. You want to subject your children to that dog, that's your business. You don't subject other people to that dog. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done.
You can't say your dog would never. Any dog at some point
his
could.
dogs were not
It's always a
on
possibility.
leash. My dog was.
Any
was all
dog could
made up.
attack.
The plaintiff claims she was walking her dog and the defendant was walking towards her also walking her dog. The dogs came together, but not in an aggressive way, and then out of nowhere came the defendant's cat, which scratched the plaintiff's dog.
God darn cat.
Were you present when that happened?
Yes, it
Evil.
was, but that's not
Pure
quite how
evil.
it happened.
Why don't you tell me your version of how it happened?
And I actually have a picture.
From when?
This is from the area where it happened, not the
Oh,
accident.
I'd like to take a look at that.
Well, the defendant claims that's not how it happened, but based on her version of how it happened, it
I'm
seems quite
sorry.
similar, with the only difference being their choice of words.
I just did not
After the
sleep
first
well.
hit by the cat, the defendant jumped in to stop the attack.
So what makes you think you're not responsible for the vet bill?
Because I don't believe I am. I mean, my cat wasn't on a leash. There is no leash law in California.
No, you just
No.
let your cat outside.
You
The cat
daggone
doesn't have to be on
right.
a leash. That doesn't mean you're not responsible.
But that's
You
what
daggone cat want to give
her
skippity paps.
responsibility is odd. She's trying to use the
Start a
law
fight.
as a loophole when she was the one who let her cat outside.
Let that animal go outside, out of your control.
correct.
Then if it causes damage, you as the cat's owner are responsible. That's the law. You don't have to have the cat on a leash if there's no leash law.
She claims the plaintiff should have kept her dog close to her, and that's her responsibility. Maybe that's why she gave her a fake phone number.
Yeah.
Bleeding.
I don't
and
care
I
about
needed to
you.
get home. I understand
Your
that.
arm is not an issue. If it's your cat and your
Correct.
arm, you choose to keep the cat, you choose to keep the cat.
But I gave her my phone number and then I went home.
She says you gave her the wrong phone number.
She's incorrect. I gave her the correct phone number.
She
Well,
was
we in
clearly
court now.
trying to evade responsibility. That's why the law exists. So people like this don't get away with terrible and questionable things that they do.
4321, not 6360. That doesn't even sound. You don't have a
Remotely.
hearing problem, do you? Outrageous. Can I see your vet bills, please?
Not even remotely alike. Not even a little bit. You saying the lady done got the wrong. You gave her the wrong phone number. People is crazy. You let your cat out of the house and you think the woman that's walking with a leashed dog, that is her problem and that she should have pulled her dog closer? Still, she pulled her dog closer, your cat is still unleashed. So your cat can freely walk closer to that dog as the owner pulls it closer to them and still attack the dog. Because you have no leash to pull your cat back. So, and maybe your cat doesn't have to be leashed, but still, your cat went and attacked somebody or somebody's pet. So now you're responsible, like Judge Judy said. That was crazy. That was crazy. Most of the time, the pet ones be something else on that show. Comment down below if you want to see more Judge Judy clips. I'll definitely react to more of that. And give this big thumbs up. Sorry. Give this big thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. It helps me out in the YouTube algorithm and I appreciate it. And then also see if you are subscribed down below. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and join me over here and turn on your post notifications with the little bell icon. And then I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, guys. Thank you for stopping by again. Peace out.